more durable and all steel is that we've only got 3 channels for our whole system. So you can run channels in perpetuity with just 3 channels and get positive flow even on a 0% gradient. So we've got 3 channels, 9-inch, 7-inch, 5-inch. So here's a 7-inch channel. So if I wanted to keep running, I can just go 7-inch, another 7, another 7, and just keep doing 7, 7, 7, then drop down to a 5, you know, so, and it's just a male-female connection. So they go together very simply. There's no mechanical affixing them. It's very simple. But what I wanted to show you today is a 7-inch channel dropping down to a 5. So the tops always stay level, obviously. But if we're dropping down to a 5-inch, there's a gap. Well, what you'll see in your box, and it'll come just like this, already bent. It's called a drop connector, or a step connector, as some people call it. It's bent like that, and that helps marry 2 different size channels together, okay? So when you're changing channel size, all it does, done, just like that. Very simple. So then the 5-inch, this acts as a shelf, the 5-inch, which I'll show you in a minute, drops on. So what you can do to help put it into place, you can bang these tabs up, you know, so that'll hold it in there and it ain't going anywhere. Do you have to? I'm not really sure, but you know what sometimes people do if they don't feel like banging things? They'll just put a piece of tape there. So I'll just show that to you real quick here in a minute. So you can also do a piece of tape. So that's the drop connect. I thought it was important that you see that. The other thing are end caps. We're an all steel system, so no plastic here. Our end caps are universal. So again, 9-inch channel, 7-inch channel, 5-inch channel. But our end caps are usually this long, and you can break off each piece, which I've already done here. So this is a 7-inch channel. I've broken it off to the number 5, but you'll see the point I'm trying to make. This hole matches up with the male, and it just goes on there. Again, I've already broken it off, but you get the idea. Done. So therefore, the end cap just goes just like that. So it just goes on and off like that, and you can break it off to the size channel. The other thing I wanted to show you is the end cap outlet. This right here, it's not finished, of course, but you get the idea. And it's a beast. It's heavy. It's durable. Same thing. You get the holes right here that match up, and that just goes on there, and that allows you to put a pipe on there. And also, what you could do if you're doing like a Schedule 40, you know, you can get a 4-3 reducer to go ahead and make sure that fits a Schedule 40, but it'll go SDR 35, fit like a glove, so things like that. So the other thing we recommend, it's just a recommendation, if you think that your practices or an experience are a little bit different, go ahead and utilize your own experience to do that. But here's some tips. What we think works well is to go ahead and put into all the channels, get them ready, put the grates in the beginning of each channel, just like that. Now, you can put the grates in the whole thing, but then it becomes a little heavier. But the reason we like to put a couple of grates in there is to kind of give it some stiffness. So as you install it, we find that that's a little easier. If you feel like you don't need to, that's okay too. So every channel has 2 of these. This is our installation chair, but it also doubles as a locking device. So it just goes apart like that. And it goes through the channels like that. And I'll show you that in a minute. So these go on the ends of each channel. In the 2 holes in the center are these. These are called caps or locking devices. Okay? So what we do is it just goes like this. Just like that. It's very simple. And then, of course, a grate would go on there. And then, like that. What we like to do is install our drains just like this. Okay? So I keep the caps in there because it creates a nice handle that you can grab. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. Let's take a look at what an installation looks like. So on the first channel, so here's our first channel. On the very first channel, if you have an end cap outlet, and you always start from your outlet and work away from that, and this is a 7-inch channel, we're going to drop down to a 5 to show a step down. So the first channel you want perfect. Obviously we're indoors because of the weather, so we're not driving down rebar. But typically you want to drive down the rebar about that far, depending on where you live in the country. But what's nice about that is it creates, by driving the rebar in, you can now pour your concrete in a single lift. And of course that doubles the installation rates practically, as well as gets rid of any cold joints that you would have there. So that's what we do. But on the first channel, usually we set it on the ground, and then we put the rebar through it. So remember, this is on the ground, get it kind of level. Then we drive the rebar down a little bit. And then what we do, now that the rebar is through the chairs, then we raise the channel up to about grade or a little bit higher than grade. remember, it's always easier to knock it down than lift it up. So we raise it up, we finger tighten it, get it close, finger tighten it. Then when everything's finger tight, remember these are in the ground, what we'll do is we'll go one by one. Loosen this one up, pound it into the ground. Tighten it up. Then go to the next one. Loosen it, pound it into the ground farther, I should say. Then tighten it. Then this is perfect. It's tight, it's not going anywhere. So then your next channel. And I'm gonna do this by myself. Normally you'd have two people here. Okay, so let me step on this side so you can. So remember, we're stepping down from a 7 to a 5. And we saw how easy it is. Done, that's all you gotta do. So what I like to do is either, and I don't wanna bang up a channel right now, but what I'll do is I'll just tape it. So you don't have to, but I do recommend it. You know, why not? It doesn't hurt anything. It takes a second. Or what you can do is just bang it by itself. So either way, you know, it's a choice you can make. So now what I'll typically do, and again, it's much easier with two people, but you'll get the idea. So now that becomes a shelf, literally. You know, so, and then, you know, you want to kind of eye it up. Again, we're not shooting a string line today, but you get the idea. So when I do that, well, there it is. That's holding up there. It's not going anywhere. So what I'll do is I'll basically buy myself some fall insurance. I'll put the rebar through the cross, and you'll see it on the other side better. And I tighten up this side only. So when I lift it, it doesn't move everything. And when this rebar's in the ground, these, boy, that thing's tight as a rock. You're good to go. So again, a little fall insurance. So I tighten this one up. That's it. So now what I'm going to do, again, I'm doing this by myself. So pardon the background noise. This is a working warehouse. So what I'll do now, I'll just put this back here, loosen these up a little bit, and now I'm just going to raise it. And again, I'm just assuming a string line was here. I'm just going to try to get it close. This is not exactly it. Okay? I'm going to finger tighten it, and notice I'm doing this without any tools. So that's close. So now this is what I would do, just like that. Okay, just get it close is my only thought. Then you'll see in a minute what I mean by we'll tighten everything up. Okay, so now that that's there, I'm now going to populate the rest of this because now I'm just going to finger tight things. That's it, and these are pretty tight. So boom, finger tight, and that's it. Now I can tighten these up because I've already raised it. So now this thing is a rock. It's not going anywhere. You could literally step on this and it's not even pounded into the ground. So now, what I would do, now it's up, I would take my level and kind of tweak it a little bit or shoot it to my string line. So now what I would do is I'd loosen this up and pound it all the way in, get it down. Obviously you want your rebar a couple inches below your concrete. For illustrative purposes, we're not going to do that. So I'd loosen it, pound it in. Once I get it there, then I tighten it, finger tighten it. The back of the hammer works nicely. It's kind of tighten it like that, so it's the only tool you need. And then I get that tight, then I'd loosen this one up, bang it down, get it to where I want it to go, tighten it, and go to the rest, and then repeat and rinse as necessary. It really is that easy. I just did it by myself.